et bienvenue. Straight Through the Channel presents the last video on the Grammar Basic Qualificative Adjectives series. We have defined qualificative adjectives and talked about their position in the sentence in the last videos. Now we are going to talk about adjectives and their agreement. Let's have a look at an example. In English, whether you have one flower or a whole bouquet of it, the adjective yellow remains the same. In French, however, the adjective jaune, yellow, changes and takes the final S when there are several flowers. Why and how does the form of the adjective change? If we have a look at these examples, we can notice that the qualificative adjective changes form depending on the noun. From there, we can deduce that qualificative adjectives always agree with the noun they describe. And yes, there is an asterisk here, as I will go back to extend on that rule later on. For now, how do we know how to change the adjective? If we have a closer look at the two nouns from the examples and look them up in the dictionary, we can find that bâtiment, building, is masculine and maison, house, is feminine. And I can hear you wonder why people would randomly assign gender to nouns such as objects and even concepts and ideas. And I would just say, French people aren't the only ones. Consider yourself lucky, some languages have more than two genders. Yep, doesn't make for a good reason, but that's all I have. But now that we have found out about this gender attribution, we can go back to our adjectives, which seem to change depending on the noun's gender. An even closer look, and you can see the adjective changes also depending on the noun's number. That is to say, whether there is one, singular, or several, plural. Let's take a couple of adjectives and put them along with masculine singular words. We'll use this as our base. Change to a plural form, add an S to the base. To change to a feminine form, add an E to the base. And finally, for feminine plural, add both an E and a final S. Let's study slightly more complicated cases. If you have one masculine word combined with a feminine word, it works the same way as it did when French language rules were made. The masculine gender takes over. No matter how many feminine nouns you have, if there is even one tiny masculine word, it will take over. I guess grammar does not concern itself with gender equality. On the other hand, if there are only feminine words, then the adjective simply takes the mark of the feminine plural. Now, let's go back to our rule and the little asterisk that was hovering over it. Here, we've got examples with feminine and plural, but the adjective does not change. So what is so special about these? We can see that they are all colors, and three of them relate to fruit or gems, therefore can be used as words of their own. The last one, bleu foncé, dark blue, is a color made of two words. This allows us to expand on our rule. When it comes to colors, adjectives referring to a fruit, a flower, or even a gem do not agree with the nouns they describe, nor do multiple words colors. That's right, they can all be words of their own, so they're not going to agree with any random noun. And that makes a rule. And you know what always comes with a rule? A good old exception. So please note that certain adjectives do not like disagreeing, even though they refer to an object of their own. For example, rose, pink, and violet, purple, always agree with the noun. There are other exceptions which I have listed here, but honestly, I rarely use these words, so you'd be pretty unlucky if you have to. And here is our final rule. All adjectives agree with the noun they describe, gender, masculine or feminine, and number, singular or plural, apart from some colors. Colors that can be a word of their own, except rose, violet, and a few others you don't want to worry about, and colors made of multiple words. And that's all the basics you need to know about qualificative adjectives. I hope you found this series useful. Please don't hesitate to comment and suggest more topics for my videos. Merci et à bientôt!